Hi, welcome to Sovereign Vision Temple. I'm Skyra, and I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. I invite you to become present in this space at this moment. Get in your body, forget the outside distractions. If you're going to be present, to be here now. Um, just remember to breathe, brings you back into your body, into awareness, into presence, into what is happening in this moment. Um, when we can let go of what has been and what may be, we can kind of release anxiety and stress from our system to become in the right now. Um, Today, I want to talk a little bit about relationships and the dynamics of relationships based off of our wounded self. Because when we are in our ascension, awakening process, or whatever you want to label it, it's the shift in our consciousness, and we began to awaken to a different perspective. We began to awaken to a different reality. And we also began to awaken to our own bullshit. And we might start, it might come from deep pain, from multiple failed relationships, marriages, um, feeling that there's something more in our life, that there's something missing from we're not happy. We don't feel like we are living our true purpose in life. We might be in a job that we cannot stand to go to. Um, we might be dealing with health issues because all of these things ultimately are based off of a disconnect from our spiritual self, from the truth of who we are. And all of these things manifest in our physical world, and so it comes down to uh, how are we able to navigate our life in a place with extreme duality, extreme, extreme triggering, extreme, uh, just extreme opinions, separation in the world. And usually this is manifested into the world through our relationships, and or into our awareness through relationships. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. That was my case for all my life. All of my relationships were based off of codependent behaviors, um, off of uh, control and neediness and fear of authenticity, fear. Mostly because I didn't even know who I was. When you don't know who you are, and if you're operating from a place of unresolved trauma in your life, uh, there's holes in our soul. There's places in our soul that don't feel complete, and so we feel that there's something missing from us or something innately wrong with us, and that's from trauma, from our upbringing, from past life, and it can even be from cosmic trauma. There's many different sources: religious trauma, there's trauma from our caretakers, there's traumas from outside, from school. It's everyone on this earth has been traumatized in some form. And what is trauma? I mean, that doesn't mean that we had this accident, although it could mean that, but this means that there's been something in our life that's been stressful or created a deep stressor in our life that was too much, too quick, too fast, or like in the case of PTSD or CPTSD, it's been something that has been a prolonged stressor in our life, something that has gone on for many years, that has created certain patterns in our mind. And, whether it's feeling not loved, not accepted, not worthy, um, that there, that you have something wrong. These are all wounds that we have received on our heart, um, from our parents or our caretakers, those who were only projecting their own ability to to raise children, to because they were wounded themselves. And a lot of this information wasn't out there. We just went on and did what we thought we were supposed to do. And same with our parents. They didn't know any better. There wasn't none of this talk out there. So those of you who are in your 20s, 30s, 40s at this time, you're dealing with parents that, or likely unhealed parents, and parents who may have been a very toxic relationships, might have been in addiction, might have been in codependency. And I can say the first step into healing yourself is forgiveness. And we might not be able to forgive those um, who hurt us right away. But if we can see that this is a accumulation of a generational thing, and even though people want to be a certain way, or they know that what's right and wrong, or and there's no right or wrong, that what is um uh healthy or unhealthy based off of our trauma patterns and our nervous system. uh, a lot of things it just happens. There's a reaction, there's a trigger, there's addictions, there's escapism because people don't want to feel their feelings. And so my first experience, well, I've had many, many relationships throughout my years, and um, but my first marriage, they say that you marry one of your parents, and my first marriage was short, and I married a man who was very physically abusive and emotionally abusive and controlling and manipulating. And um, I can look back many years ago. I think I was 22. And, you know, I thought that was all I deserved. I thought that I didn't, like, I didn't know what it felt like to be loved completely. And I felt that I had to, um, just wanted somebody to love me, right? You just want somebody to love you and think that they're going to be there for you. And a lot of women have this uh, vision that this of the you know, Cinderella relationship, that there's going to be this sh knight in shining armor who's going to come and save you. And a lot of women are so traumatized, and their self-worth and their self-love has been so weaponized, and I will say the word weaponized, through our based off of uh, how we've been downplayed and rejected and manipulated for years, and I mean thousands of years. Women have been uh, demonized, you know. And it's not even intentional with men, it's not even intentional. It's not even women, it's the feminine energy. Um, but when there's an extreme of one energy, the feminine or the masculine, there's always going to be a major imbalance. And that major imbalance in our collective, in our society plays out as control, manipulation, greed, um, abuse, narcissistic abuse, if you want to label things, codependency, enabling, and both of them on both sides are the disease. They are, so the opposite. There's a whole lot of information out there now about narcissistic relationships and narcissistic men. And there's a movement to femininity, feminine power, or, um, but it's misguided, it's misplaced. It's, we think that we're blaming men, when this is a energetic imbalance in our society, in our world, especially in the United States. Well, not even in the United States, it's everywhere, because I think in the United States it's probably more on the narcissistic, where it's an undercurrent. It's not just, if you go to some countries, it's just flat out, like there's just a definitive weaponization of women, where women are completely third class citizens. And then there's the United States, where I'm at, and it is a uh, very narcissistic. It is, they'll tell you that you're crazy. They'll tell you that they're not they're not controlling or manipulating, and they're not doing anything wrong. And then the blame gets turned back onto you, and you're told you're crazy, that there's something wrong with you. Um, and this is coming because we don't know who we are. We don't trust ourselves. We we don't know our we don't know what our we're not engaged with our intuition. It's been cut off. We're living in a society of survival. So a lot of women will get into relationships with men simply because they feel like they need someone to help them to live, you know. Um, they want to be loved, they want to be accepted. Um, and there is this dynamic of, let's hurry up. Let's hurry up and let's do this, and let's not get to know somebody deeply. Let's not, let's not, let's just sweep everything under the rug. All the signs, we can take them because of our ability to disassociate and our need so deeply to be loved, and to really want to believe that this is the perfect relationship, that we can just sweep it under the rug or pretend it's not happening, or we put on masks and we just smile until the pain gets unbearable, until we're in it and we are having children, and there's deep fear of leaving the relationship. So we stay and we endure abuse, and we endure, and this is both, I'm sorry, this narcissistic tendencies um, can be women or men. The dynamic is both, because it's a feminine energy. So it's more prevalent with women because of the dynamic that women were um, made to uh, be, that we don't, we're, women are superior to women. for many years. It's not so much that way anymore, but that is the undercurrent that has been feeding into our religious systems, the court systems, uh, the patriarch for thousands of years. Um, the other side, what I want to bring up today about these relationships is that why there's so much talk about the narcissistic person, this narcissistic behavior. It's all blame, and that's staying in the same energy. It's not moving in your own power. It's when we are blaming another for where we are in our life, for uh, however we are at this moment. And so the only thing that we can do is to decide not to be a victim and start working on ourselves because we're not going to change the other person unless they want to change themselves. But has any of that ever worked? Have you ever seen the other person really diving deep into their own healing work? I hope so, but majority of the time there's one that has had enough or one that has awoken to these dynamics. And, so there's two ways we can continue on and hope it's going to change and hope we're going to change that other person, or there's three ways, I'm sorry. We're going to run and get out of the relationship and boom, end up right back in another relationship, with the same patterns, the same thing, it might be at a different level, but there's still the underlying unhealed aspects of that relationship because why? We haven't done our inner work. We haven't healed ourselves. So that was my my journey of my life was three marriages. The first one, like one parent, second one, like another parent, and the third one, the karmic, very painful soul uh, relationship that both of us played out the deep wounding, and it interchanged back and forth from narcissistic, codependent, enabling, saving, addiction, all of it, because at that point we both were so wounded from several marriages and then, you know, but there was deep love. And so there can be deep love in those relationships. However, um they're based off of very deep woundedness. And when we don't know how um, to change it, and one finally has to break it, and then the other one that those deep woundedness will come in and swoop in, and that's where the real pain begins. That's where there's a lot of, you'll see um, manipulation of the children, of money, of property. And so, how do we change it? What do we do? We decide that we're not going to get into another relationship, a serious relationship, until we've done deep inner work on ourselves. And we take responsibility for our part in it. We have to own, how did we contribute to this? What are our patterns? For myself, I was an enabler. I was the person who wanted to save. I was the codependent. I was the addict as well, because that's where it ends up to. And it's based off of deep, deep wounding to our soul, deep wounding from childhood patterns, from ancestral things that I brought into my own who I was, based off of my mother and my father and their parents, and these patterns that were integrated from the womb. literally from in our cells all the way to the spiritual realm and our energetic uh, uh, signature of who we are. All of these aspects need to be looked at and healed. So a relationship is just basically a mirror to what needs to be healed inside of you. And some of us who are like enablers, codependency, we're very sensitive. Um, we are magnets. We can be magnets to narcissistic um, or manipulation or control. And once we are able to heal our inner world and do this inner healing work, find our power, find our voice. And that doesn't mean hating men. That doesn't mean that it's men. Women, the feminine are going to be the leaders to heal this collective, that we're going to be here to heal this this world. The men are the natural leaders, but they've also been disempowered from a system, the government system, the force that has been placed on them from war, and their heart has been shut down from pain and trauma for thousands of years. They've been made to feel small, that they're not needed. So they become hard. And if we can start learning to have compassion for that, but we have to heal ourselves first. And once we start healing ourselves, then we will be bringing in energies of possible relationships where men are willing to do the work. They are willing to heal. They want to make relationships work because we've done our work. And then you do it together. And that is the embodiment of, we bring in our own feminine energy. We're healing the toxic masculine and feminine energies. I don't like that word toxic, but um the wounded feminine, the wounded masculine energies that are in us, but we can hold both, so that we can embody our divine feminine energy and also our masculine. And in that, it's called a unification of our own two energies, so that we are attracting men who are healing, who are here to be the divine masculine, uh, to hold the space for the feminine. So we're going to be healing these narcissistic, codependent, enabling relationships that are based off of deep trauma and wounding and triggers and projection and um, victimhood and blame. And, it takes time. It takes time. I haven't been in a serious relationship for uh, almost 4 years, and have really deeply gone into my own shadow aspect of myself. Um, and I know that I will be ready for a relationship at one point, and then we get to practice. Right now I'm practicing with just my life relationships, with just people that are coming in. I attract a lot of male clients, who are looking to heal their feminine side, to heal their heart, to feel safe, because they're here to do the work, because they want to have a healthy relationship. And that is the most important work that we can do here on this earth, is to bring balance through relationships, because we're here to have relationships. We're not here to be alone. Like we've had all these horrible relationships, and we're just all men are terrible, all women are awful. No, that's not the work because that's just playing it safe. We are here to be in relationship. We are here to um, unify our collective through relationship. So anyway, I hope I spoke some to somebody today. I welcome you to subscribe, like my channel. If you are seeking um, healing work in your inner world, um, healing trauma. I am a somatics and trauma mentor, empowerment mentor. I work in a spiritual awakening. I work in even health. I'm a health intuitive. I work in the spiritual integration, which is the heart healing, um, the intuition, the divine feminine energies. Uh, I work on all levels, and I work also in addiction alchemy. So if any of this speaks to you, you're more than welcome to schedule a 20-minute session with me to discuss any way that I could help you. I work one-on-one with clients, and I am getting ready to bring in a group program. So stay tuned for that. I'll be sending more information out for that. Otherwise, thank you, and thank you for being here. Have a beautiful day. Aloha.